that I want my vendors to obey the protocol. But how would people do this on a situation where there is a hungry belly situation, where your kids are around you and it costs you more in maintaining them when they are at home? So it's a really, really, really dire situation for us.
What does a 90-day state of emergency mean for craft vendors who have been out of work since March 2020? Assistance was granted last year by way of a $1,500 income relief program. Now, as new restrictions constrain the craft vending sector, President of the St. Lucia Dry Goods and Vendors Association, Peter Ras Ipa Isaac, is appealing for a new round of economic relief measures.
These things are done without any kind of serious assistance or care packages for these people. So their pain and their suffering are continuing unabated without any kind of assistance. And that's one of the main concerns that we have as the Vendors Association.
In the absence of the full-fledged opening of the tourism industry, vendors have been sidelined and can barely eke out a living. Isaac says the economic blow is not limited to dry goods vendors, but those operating at the beach, lay-bys, and other small and micro businesses forced to close shop. Isaac is dismayed by the idea of vendors taking small loans.
To get loans to do what? If I get a loan right now to buy goods to sell to who? We, especially us in the vendors market and the craft market, we are solely dependent upon the tourism industry. Those people, the tourists who are coming in here today, the only people who are benefiting from them are the hotels, not us. Because the minister said that they don't want the tourists to mix up with us. And sometimes it's a question I want to ask, what's the logic in that? When the workers are really citizens of St. Lucia. So they are mingling and so on and so forth. So I don't know, but the reality about it is, I don't think giving vendors small loans now is going to, I think they need assistance to sustain themselves.
Isaac says women make up 80% of the vending workforce, and this is cause for concern. He laments the single-parent households, older and vulnerable persons reliant on income from vending, now left to fend for themselves.
Nobody's saying how they're going to assist us in terms of utilities, you know what I mean, and so on, how we're going to pay our utilities. Those persons who already have loan, let us say, how are they going to be assisted? And all that are areas we need to hear from the government from. We are not hearing nothing dealing with these areas, and that's the concern that we have.
The ongoing pandemic has ravaged many sectors, all of which have been clamoring for support and financial relief. St. Lucia has been hit exceedingly hard due to the heavy reliance on tourism. Calls have been made coming out of the pandemic for economic diversification. The St. Lucia government is now stuck in between a rock and a hard place in finding policy prescriptions to meet the increasing needs of the vulnerable given the island's fiscal constraints. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.